Okay, so I figured I should hop on here and talk about the cast myself, because I've been intending to do this for like a god awful amount of time. Um, for the first time, I'm actually pretty positive about this cast. I think, I mean, well, for me, I think pretty much everyone fucking hates this cast, and yeah, there are some people on it who I'm not like happy about, but I think for the most part they did a pretty good job. Because, yes, there are some absolutely egregious cuts. Like, I don't know how you can have Kayla Lynn, Rob Cesternino, Jesse, Jerry, Sean Rector, all these people actively wanting to come back and then cut them. Especially after expanding the cast to be more people than you've ever had before. It's tragic to lose some of those people, but ultimately, I understand why they cast every single person here. Would I have done that? Well, no. But I think it's not too bad, guys. I think it's better than the Game Changers cast. It's honestly better than Second Chances. Like, it's really not that bad. It feels weird fucking defending the cast, but I guess that's what I'm doing. But I guess to go through everyone one by one. Jenna Lewis, and by the way, I don't know how long this is gonna be. I just want to get my thoughts out in a format that isn't me just being a keyboard warrior, because I've done that so much already for this cast. Uh, Jenna Lewis is a great pick. I think in terms of Borneo, she's probably the person who would acclimate to this cast better than anyone. She's still an active fan of the show. Um, in All Stars, obviously, she played super aggressive, so, and I think she's gonna have no issues just doing that again. I like you could say something like Greg is a bigger character, and yeah, I would have preferred Greg, but we don't even know if Greg was truly in the casting pool. Jenna's always been someone willing to play hard, and I think just having someone from season one is good. And like I said, I think she will play the game harder than anyone would from that season. Besides like Richard Hatch, but there's some issues with that. I think the show's probably going to try and milk that she made it to the final three with Robin and Amber in All Stars. I think that is honestly part of why they cast her, so they can show Robin and Amber on TV in 2025. Well, I guess 2026. But yeah, no, I think Jenna, honestly, in terms of like the old school playoffs, which I'm gonna say here is before like season 20, I think she's probably one of the people I'm more confident in. After that, we have Colby, who I've heard actually has become a pretty big fan of the strategy of this show, which I think is really funny. Um, he and his family watch it and have become like maybe I was lied to, but they love the strategy of the show now, which I think it would be so fun because everyone's saying like, oh, imagine explaining shot in the dark or knowledge is power to Colby. I think his ass knows. I think he's actively a fan of this shit. Um, have him interact with Q, the Riz God, and Coach. What happens though? Okay, imagine that tribe. Those four are the men. Like, honestly, I think Colby, he's probably gonna be like a pretty much boot, but I think he's probably gonna be smarter than people are expecting. A lot smarter than people are expecting. Um, how did his hairline get better? It's been 15 years, and his hairline looks so much. What kind of hair product is this man using? I think it's funny, by the way, how his heroes versus villains, like in Australia, he's winning all the challenges, um, because everyone else sucked at them. He comes back for All Stars, and that's proven because there's people who can actually do comps there. And then he comes back for heroes versus villains, and it's even fucking worse. So now is he gonna be like Vanden Downland levels of dog shit? I hope so, because I think that'd be very funny. And also, didn't he do like a TV show? Like, isn't he the host of some show now? I don't remember what it's called, but this has got to be a cast photo from it. I think. After that, we skip all the way to Stephanie. I don't think we need Stephanie on this cast. I get she's a legend of the time, but I just don't feel the need for a Stephanie 4.0. I don't think she's that engaging of a character. I think seeing her on Traitors was enough. I really don't have too much else to say. Like, I'm not offended by casting Stephanie, and I wouldn't like say like, oh, they never should have put her on. But there was a lot better picks. Truly, a lot better picks. Suri. Yes, she's played for a fifth time, which is insane. But also, like, if anyone's gonna play for a fifth time, it's Suri. I'm gonna find some new bullshit way to eliminate her. It's gonna be awesome. I feel like I don't really know how to think of how she's gonna do. Cause I feel like she should be an obvious boot for the pre-merge, but also Suri's just so good socially. And I think watching her play BB25 on the live feeds and seeing her being able to flip the game like 7 times a day with no repercussion for so long is a testament to how much control she can get purely from just being social. And I really I think she could make it fall, but there's obviously no way she wins. Like, no one is taking her to the end. Maybe she could go out in like a Game Changers-esque position again. Not in the sense of being the only one without an idol, but in the sense of like a 6th place early endgame boot. Speaking of, Australia versus the world. I wonder how she does there. I feel like she could do okay there, but also I haven't watched Australian Survival yet, and this is gonna be my 4th season. So, maybe she's gonna do terrible. I don't know. After that, Ozzy. Yeah, this is one of the two. Well, it's more than two. This is one of the few people I'm actively mad about. This dude has done so much fucking shit that they should not cast him for. I know production forced. Not production. CBS forced production's hands to get him on Game Changers, and I reckon they did the same thing here. There's really no other explanation. Jeff is so sick of this guy. I imagine the rest of production is too, but because CBS really wanted the Jungle Boy, as Jeff begrudgingly put it in the cast reveal video, Ozzy made it on. He's better than Joe, at least. I would have preferred Malcolm, but Ozzy is kind of a more famous player, unfortunately. The one good thing about Ozzy being here is that I think Ozzy versus Coach in 2026 is going to be mad funny. They were both captains in South Pacific. And honest, I'm so excited for Coach 4.0. I think it's insane that we're getting so many, I guess it's only 9 or so, 4 and 5-time players. But I think it's maybe 7. And it doesn't matter. Coach has such a good story. In his 4th season, he's kind of the leader of his tribe, but he's also kind of dog shit at being it. Peridium said this in a video, how he kind of leads in like a Michael Scott way, which is very funny. He comes back for Heroes versus Villains, and no one takes him seriously whatsoever, and no one lets him get to that leadership position. And then South Pacific, he's straight up a cult leader. Like, it's an, I want to write. Okay, this is gonna sound weird. I want to write an essay about South Pacific and what it says, because it is that season's a master class of how religion can be used to control people. And then the one atheist in the alliance wins at the end. I just think it's a really funny story. I think Coach, all this time later, gray hair now. I think it would be so like, where does the story go from here? Is he gonna ham up his persona? There's no way he's gonna try and do the South Pacific thing again. So I feel like realistically, the closest thing we're gonna get to one of his past performances is just like another heroes versus villains, which sounds awesome to me. Like, fuck yeah. After that, we have Aubrey. I didn't need to see Aubrey again. Everyone has said this, and I'm gonna say it too. She's just diminishing returns. Each season, she's just worse. Cologne, she's great, obviously. Um, Game Changers, she was hardly in the edit. Um, and then in Edge of Extinction, she's a pre-mortal. And frankly, she probably was a better character in that season than she was in Game Changers. But we just don't need to see Aubrey for a 4th time. With Coach and Aubrey too, the two of them were both rumored for Traitors, and I think both are great picks for it. I prefer seeing Coach on Survival again, but Aubrey I would have preferred on Traitors. We just don't need a 4th appearance from her. Also, apparently she's been defending Joe Ingram a lot, who I just shit talked, and that's obnoxious. He should not be defended, but then actually, I'm not gonna say that's just me. Like, no, if you defend Joe, I'm assuming you're a bad person. So, I'm kind of out on Aubrey. When I saw her revealed, I wasn't too upset, because, like, I liked her, but now it's just like, I don't know. Um, Beyond that, Chrissy Hoffbeck, I, I'm kind of surprised production's so high on Chrissy. Like, she seems like someone who her time kind of would have just passed and they would have cut her. But that didn't happen, obviously. She's on the cast. I think part of why Jeff wanted her is so he can be like, yeah, the first person who, quote unquote, lost the game because of file making, which isn't even true. I think Devin or Ryan wins that final tribal. I think Chrissy's probably the least likely to win in that scenario, but I digress. Um, Chrissy, they're gonna want to play up the file thing, and I think it'd be so funny if she makes it to file. But I feel like if anyone here is gonna get underedited, she's probably one of the more likely people. So I just don't. I don't know. I like Chrissy, but I just don't feel too high on her for this season. I feel like she's probably just gonna probably not do too all too well. And then from there, sorry I yawned. Mike, oh my god, what the fuck is going on with his eyebrows? What the fuck? That's disgusting. First I was excited to see Mike White on this cast, and then I saw something of him being pretty blatantly transphobic, so, fuck this guy. Really, I'm very disappointed, especially with White Lotus and stuff. It seems like I haven't seen the show, but based on what I've heard, I assumed he was pretty progressive, but, feeling that's not the case. That just sucks, man. It is, Mike White honestly might be the biggest get this show has gotten. When they showed the video of Jeff revealing the cast on CBS Mornings this morning, um, they hyped up Mike White so much, like, oh, how did you get Mike White? And, it's a marketing thing. I think that's a lot of why he's here. Like, if Mike White was just someone who just so happened to have played David vs. Goliath as a newbie who no one knew, he would not be here. But since he is Mike White, he was a no-brainer for them to cast. I'm just disappointed that he's not the person I thought he was. From there, I'm gonna guess Angelina's next. I'm a fucking genius. It was a coin flip. Angelina is incredible. I think it's so funny how she was, like, one of the only people on this cast who was rumored to be there from start to finish, never went off. She was always there. It was like her and Celie who did that. It's very funny. Angelina had to be here. There's really nothing else to say. Angelina is fucking peak pettiness. Genuinely one of the greatest reality TV characters ever. And to have that as a one-time player is insane. I hope she does well this season. I would love to see her on other shows like Traitors. I think she would be amazing on that. And I think there's a lot of Survivor alumni who I would love to see on Traitors. Maybe that could be a fun video. Like Abby Maria, for example. I do not like Abby Maria. I think she's so annoying, but she would be perfect for Traitors. I think a thing with Traitors is that I like the game bots, I like the gamers, I don't like the people who don't know strategy games. But sometimes it does feel like you have too much of one group versus the other. And I think a way to circumvent that is to have people who come from those gamer shows, like Survivor and Big Brother, but who are messy and cause drama. So give me Q, Abby Maria, Angela Murray, Tucker, all these absolutely insane characters who can play the game strategically, but for the most part are there for the character value. Anyway, kind of a tangent, but I think Angelina is someone who will make any season of anything better. Here's Christian. I love Christian. I'm so happy to see him back. One of my favorite players, because I mean, how can you not like Christian? A lot of people are so sick of the Nords on Survival. The archetype that is just these white men with classes who get all the screen time, which, hmm, um, why did I make like a villager noise though? Um, Christian's amazing. No one dislikes Christian. The people who hate the Nord archetype still love Christian because he's not self-deprecating. He's not like someone like. Sorry, my chair was moving around. You probably heard that. He's not someone like Charlie who's kind of boring, even though I like him. He's not like Cochrane where he's super self-deprecating, which I think I already just said that. But he actually has confidence and he's actually like super charismatic. I think Christian's someone who, despite what you would expect, he can get along with literally anyone. And I do feel like he's probably gonna fall into the trap of being too big of a threat again. But God, like Angelina, Christian is someone who, the more you have him on the show, the better the show's gonna be. He's someone who had to be here, and thank God he is. I had something else to say, but I'm totally. Oh, in the challenge with Alec, the endurance challenge, his strategy of talking the entire time, psychological warfare. I love it. I do it all the time. If I'm like doing something competitive with someone and I need to distract them, I will just start talking about anything and I won't stop, not even taking a second to breathe. I'll just keep going. And guess what? It fucking works. The greatest strategy of all time. And I learned it from this man. Um, I I would love to like, cause he's a professor. I would love to sit in one of this man's classes and just have him ramble, cause I think he could make anything interesting. I don't know what's going on with the hail here though. Rick Devens. A lot of people hate Rick Devens. I love Rick Devens. I don't give a shit, man. He's fun TV. He's a good character. Yes, did he show a lot of what was wrong with modern survival by being able to find a billion advantages and get file making and all that? Well, yeah, but he's fun. I'm sorry, he's just a fun character, dude. It's not his fault that he was able to take advantage of the way the format of the show is. It's not his fault at all. He's literally just a guy. Do not. If you come for Rick Devens, I will fight you. Um, it's kind of funny. He was not in the casting pool. Okay, he was always in the casting pool, but he wasn't in the rumored like cast until recently, which I imagine just means he was doing a good job keeping the secret that he was on. So for that, he probably wasn't pre-gaming too much, which maybe is an issue. I could see that not being great for him. Which, speaking of pre-gaming, he would be the next person I talk about if he was on the cast. My guess would be he was an alternate or a late cut. But Xandor from 41 pre-games more than anyone, and I think that is so fucking funny. Like, his ass knew he wasn't gonna be on the cast, probably, but he was still in the fucking trenches. His ass was DMing Jenna Lewis and Coach trying to make alliances. That's incredible. That's so funny. It makes me wish he was here. Instead of Jonathan, not Emily. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm so happy she's here. Jonathan, I don't like Jonathan. He faced a lot of allegations of being like sexist and shit, which I choose to believe personally. And to have him be the only person representing 41 through 44, that just sucks. I don't even think he's like that interesting of a character. I liked him at the beginning of 42, but I didn't love him. He's just kind of a big buff guy who seemed affable enough. But now I think that archetype just has better people. Like, I would have preferred David, even though 448 reps would have been crazy, so maybe not. But I just don't know why we need to fill. You dedicate one spot to the first half of the new era, and you give it to Jonathan? Like, yeah, it's what I expected, but why do that when you have people like Yam Yam, Carolyn, um, Jesse, Cody, Cola, uh, not Cassidy, Cassidy's boring. Owen, Omar. Oh, this should have been Omar's spot. What about Mike? Which I guess Mike reminds me of Mike White in the sense that they're both runners up. This cast is like, I counted this the other day when it leaked. 10 or 11 runners up, something like that. So pretty much half the cast are runners up, and I think that's so. My microphone loves to turn off after like 20 minutes of recording. I don't know why it does that. It doesn't do that for anything else, but anyway. Um, there's so many runners up on this cast, and I just think that's mad funny. As I was saying, I don't exactly know where I was going next, but man, how fucking funny. Um, shit. I guess there's also half of this cast is from the new era and half of it's before. And with the rumors that production was forced to cut a lot of new era people, and then after that, the cast expansion rumors started to come out. So I imagine the cast expansion is why we started to see more new era people on again. Which, speaking of, Emily, oh my god, thank God. I don't even know what she would give on a return. Is she just gonna continue being the person we saw in 45? Um, I guess it's ideal, but her arc is kind of over in my opinion. But like, I'm still happy to see her. Emily is such a good character. Um, I'm very surprised she's doing this. Her appearance fee must have been crazy, or at least as crazy as the new era player was gonna get. Like, she did not want to play Survival again. She actively said that so many times. Like, she did not want to deal with all the bullshit from the fans, which, considering how people have reacted to this cast, I understand. But she's here, and I'm surprised, and I really hope she does well. Also from 45, we have D, who, in my opinion, played the best game of the new era, best winner of the new era by far. Um, I'm not like a huge fan of her as a character. I think she's kind of just okay. She's not bad or anything, but I just don't care too much. She was just in the challenge, so I'm surprised Jeff didn't care at all. But she was also someone who was very close to production through the means of the On Fire podcast. Everyone who hosted it, besides Rachel, um, ended up being on this cast. So imagine that being an alliance. I think that'd be very funny. And then production can, sorry, my sleepy ass keeps yawning. Um, production can market the On Fire podcast like, oh, look at these three players you love so much. Yeah, well, they were on my podcast. Oh my god. I think D probably tops out at an Ori Marge. And I guess now that I think about it, rapid fire everyone here how I think they do. Ori, and I'm not like writing down how many people I have in each spot, so I might have like 20 people going pre-Marge. We'll see. Ori Marge, mid pre-Marge, mid Marge, uh, endgame but like 6th. Ori Marge, pre-Marge. I don't Ori or mid. Uh, also pre-Marge. Uh, pre-Marge. 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 Probably Ori Marge. Also pre. See what I mean? Like everyone's just gonna be pre-Marge. He'll make it to the Marge. She Emily's probably gonna go decently far. I think. I think she tops out at Ori Marge. But then from there, Q. Part of why Q had to be on this cast. He's like Angelina and Christian, where he just absolutely has to be here. But what's awesome is in 46, he targeted Mariah because she said her favorite player was Aubrey, and now Aubrey is here. So I bet you Aubrey and Q are going to be put on the same tribe, and they're going to target each other, and it's going to be really funny because Q's going to win, and Aubrey's going to be a two-time pre-mortal, and Q's going to get to cancel Christmas and say, big mistake. It's going to be lovely. Um, Q's just an insane character. I talked about him earlier when I went on that tangent about trade-offs, but if you want to cast characters, you cast Q no matter what. This man threatened to quit multiple times and production still loves him. How the hell did that happen? Like, if anyone even thinks about quitting, Jeff Probst reads their mind and decides he hates that player. But Q says like, yeah man, vote me out, like 4 times, and Jeff is smiling the entire time. Fucking loves that shit. Insane. Speaking of Q, I'm gonna skip Charlie and come back to him. For Tiffany, because when Tiffany was revealed by Jeff on CBS Mornings, everyone got like a little bit describing them. Like, Charlie got like three Taylor Swift references. Dee was like, "Oh, the most dominant player of the new era," and he did a bunch of stuff like that. Everyone got their own personalized messages. But Tiffany, hers was just sometimes she worked with Q. Sometimes she worked against Q. Like, that's all they had for her. And I think Tiffany is a good character and deserves more than that. Is she the biggest, like, what the fuck pick for this cast? 100%. But she still deserves it. I think she's someone who makes a ton of sense to have come back. She was my winner pick for 46, and she's gonna, as of now at least, she's gonna be my winner pick for 50. She's very much so this season's Amber, or Parvati, or Candace, or Sierra Dawn Thomas. These people, but I think she's more deserving than any of those people will. Obviously, some of those people, Parvati, prove themselves to be huge legends. But, like, I think in terms of the WTF picks going into a season, Tiffany by far the best one. Uh, Charlie, I think his Taylor Swift shtick is annoying, but also I like Charlie. I think he's just a good guy. He's not like the best character, but he's a rootable guy. I think he played at least a top 10 runners-up game in Survivor history. Funny thing is that the best runners-up game on this cast is Coach, who I think is straight up top 3 runner-up, no matter what. Like, insane game how he was able to pull that all off. But yeah, Coach, I'm also a delusional Ben Katzman player. Ben Katzman is my favorite player ever because I am insane and fucked in the head, and Charlie and Ben Katzman are friends, so Charlie's good on my book. Uh, Genevieve. I I think Genevieve has the most annoying fans ever. Like, truly, you could not make it a more annoying fan base. And for that, I get really annoyed by the presence of Genevieve because it means her fans will be annoying. But as a character and player, Genevieve is awesome. I love Genevieve. I just don't like her fans. Um, her story in 47 is really well told. She's a great confessionalist. I think she's a mad overrated player. I think she makes a lot of moves to Ori. This move she made Ori in the Merger 47, a lot of people said it was so small because it means she won't get targeted for a while. But I think effectively it was kind of a suicide bomb. It just absolutely skyrocketed her threat level to a degree where there was not much she could really do. But I think Genevieve, I think if this was like a new era Second Chances cast, maybe she wouldn't do as well. But I think with a cast like this, Genevieve could probably do pretty well actually. I'm gonna say she makes it to fuck it endgame. Winner Morge. Pre-Morge. Okay. I forgot to do that for a couple of people, but we're back. Joe. Now we get to the three people from 48. And I like all three people from 48. I know that's controversial, but I do like them. I think Joe isn't the most engaging game player, but I think part of that is because of the game he played in 48, which I don't think he will replicate. I think he's going to try and play at least somewhat different. I think him being here without Eva would be interesting. But unfortunately, I think he's still going to be relatively stagnant as a player. I think him being a primordial who just doesn't really get the sway he needs to really have the social capital is pretty likely. It's also my Edgic front runner for like the entire season, so for him to lose, that was a humbling experience. He lost to Kyle, by the way. These segues are just baked right into this. Um, Everyone shit talked Kyle's edit. Not everyone. Like, the Joe fans shit talked Kyle's edit and said it was so poorly explained. No, it wasn't. We just ignored all the signs because we had confirmation bias. It happens. That's Edgic. But Kyle and Camilla, I guess these two are kind of a package duo. I think Kyle is probably going to go pretty early. I think maybe he could slip by a couple of rounds just due to how likable he is, a la Ethan and All Stars. But beyond that, I just feel like he's going to be too big of a threat. One of the biggest threats on the board coming in, because we just saw him win with a very impressive game in 48. And the rest of this cast saw him too. And he has the target of playing with Camilla. Camilla the Killer. So I think, in Kyle Crocodile. But I think Kyle, maybe mid pre-merge. I think that's the best he does, unfortunately. Camilla, I think if Kyle goes out early, she could have an okay run, but if not, she's probably just gonna be an early boot, which is unfortunate because Camilla, she wasn't at the start or the middle of 48, but by the end of 48, I loved Camilla. I think she's such a fun character. I think it's funny that she's a Discord engineer. She's a fan of the Zero Escape games, which, if you know me, I'm literally hosting an org based on Zero Escape, starting in a couple of seasons. So, like, fuck yeah. Which, speaking of orgs, Rizzo, played orgs. I don't know what orgs. I don't know if he was a Discord guy. I think he was a Discord guy because I recognized the Rizgod name when everyone was freaking out over it. So maybe I know people who played with him or have met him. If anyone from the old community watched this and you knew him, please tell me about him because I would love to know more. Because this is our second, if he is from Discord, this is our second guy after Carolyn. Like, that's fucking awesome. Um, I've seen a lot of theories that one of these two is going to win, so then it's one winner on each tribe. I feel like that logic's kind of faulty because people thought the same thing for Game Changers with Zeke and Michaela, and obviously that didn't happen. But maybe that happens here. I don't know. It's a coin flip. Maybe one of these people wins, maybe it doesn't. And even if one of them wins, then it's a coin flip between the two of them. And based on what I know about them, neither of them seem like particularly likely winners, but maybe. Savannah, I have nothing to say because I know nothing about her whatsoever. So, yeah. And also, no one on this cast knows shit about these people. So what happens if like, God, what happens if one of them wins? Does the other like rat it out to everyone else? Like, yeah, we gotta get that guy out because he's such a big threat. Um, did anyone hear my Discord notification that just went off? I wonder if that was. But yeah, I that distracted me. But I don't really think I had much else to say about those two, so I guess that's basically the end. Like I said, Tiffany is my winner pick. I'm pretty content with this cast overall. I think they could have done a lot worse. They could have done better, like I said. I mean, Devin, Sean Rector, all of these legends of the game. But for what it is, it's honestly better than I expected. Sure, would I have cast some of these people? No. But overall, as 5 of 50 cast, I'm happy with it.